Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Slow English. I'm really happy you're here today. Before I start, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in bed, completely tired, ready to sleep, and then suddenly your brain decides it's the perfect moment to think about everything? Every problem, every mistake, every conversation you had 5 years ago. Yes, me too. Today I want to talk about something very personal, something I've experienced many times in my own life, something I believe most people experience, but not many people talk about. Today, we are going to talk about why we overthink at night. I will speak slowly and clearly, so you can follow every word. This is Slow English, and we take our time here. Let me start with a story, a real story, my story. A few months ago, I was having a very difficult week. I had a lot of work to finish. I had some problems with a friend, and I was feeling a little lost, like I didn't know what I wanted to do next in my life. During the day, I was fine. I was busy. I answered emails. I made coffee. I talked to people. I went to the supermarket. Normal life. But then, at night, when everything became quiet, it was different. I remember one specific night. I looked at my phone. The time was 11:47 p.m. I was in bed. The room was dark. I was tired, really, genuinely tired. My body wanted to sleep. But my mind had other plans. It started slowly. First, I thought about an email I needed to send the next morning. Then I thought, what if I forget? Then I thought about a conversation I had with a colleague. Did I say something wrong? Did she look a little annoyed? Was it because of me? And then, like a train going faster and faster, my brain started going everywhere. Old memories, future worries, things I said, things I didn't say, decisions I made, decisions I was afraid to make. I looked at my phone again. It was 1:15 a.m. I'd been lying there for almost an hour and a half, not sleeping, just thinking. Or maybe a better word is overthinking. So what does it mean to overthink? I think most of us already know the feeling, but let me describe it in simple words. Overthinking is when you think about something too much, too deeply, too long, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't solve your problem. It just makes you feel worse. Normal thinking is useful. For example, I have a problem. Let me think about the best solution. That's good thinking. That helps. But overthinking is different. Overthinking is more like, I have a problem. Let me think about it for 3 hours. Let me imagine the worst possible things that could happen. Let me also remember every similar problem I had in the past. And let me feel very anxious about the future. Can you feel the difference? For me, overthinking at night has always been one of my biggest challenges. I am, honestly, a person who thinks a lot. I like to analyze things. I like to understand why things happen. These qualities can be very useful. But at night, alone in the dark, they can work against me. This is the question I ask myself many times. Why at night? Why not during the day? I started reading about this topic. I talked to friends about it, and over time I started to understand some important reasons. The first reason is no distractions. During the day we are always doing something. Working, cooking, talking, driving, watching something on our phones. Our minds are busy with the outside world. We don't have time to go deep inside our own heads. But at night, in bed, there is nothing, no noise, no tasks, no people. And when the outside world becomes quiet, our inside world becomes loud. All the thoughts and worries we didn't have time to process during the day, they are still there, waiting. And at night, they finally get their chance. I find this really interesting and a little scary, to be honest. It means that many of us are using the busyness of our days to avoid thinking about difficult things. And then, at night, we can't avoid them anymore. The second reason is our brain feels more emotional at night. I read something once that really stayed with me. Scientists have found that our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps us think rationally and calmly, works less effectively when we are tired. In simple words, when we are tired at night, we lose some of our ability to think clearly. And when we can't think clearly, our emotions take over. This is why a problem that seems manageable during the day can feel like a catastrophe at night. It's not because the problem is bigger. It's because our brain is more tired and more emotional. I've experienced this so many times. Something happens during the day and I think, okay, that's a little difficult, but I'll figure it out. But then at night, lying in bed, I think, this is terrible. Everything is wrong. What am I going to do? Same problem, very different reaction. Why? Because my brain is tired. The third reason is we feel alone. There is something about the night that feels very solitary. Everyone is sleeping. The world is quiet. You are alone with your thoughts. And there is no one to talk to, no one to distract you, no one to say, hey, it's going to be okay. This feeling of being alone can make our worries feel much bigger. When I'm with other people, even if I have a problem, I feel supported. But at night, alone in the dark, I sometimes feel like I am the only person in the world who has this problem. And that makes everything feel heavier. Let me be honest with you now. Let me tell you the things I personally overthink about most at night. Because I think if I am honest, maybe you will recognize yourself too. The first thing, things I said or didn't say. I often replay conversations in my head at night. Did I say something unkind? Did I explain myself badly? Did I miss an opportunity to say something important? This type of overthinking is exhausting because the past is already the past. I cannot change it. But at night, my brain doesn't accept this. My brain wants to analyze it, fix it, and find the perfect version of what I should have said. The second thing, the future. What's going to happen with my work, with my relationships, with my health, with my plans? The future is uncertain. I know this. Everyone knows this. But uncertainty is very uncomfortable for me. And I think for many people. So at night, I try to predict the future. I try to prepare for every possible bad scenario. I think, if this happens, then I will do that. But what if that also goes wrong? Then what? Of course, this doesn't help. I cannot control the future. I cannot predict it. But my brain tries anyway. The third thing, my decisions. Did I make the right choice? Should I have done something differently? What if I had taken the other path? I sometimes think about decisions I made years ago, and I ask myself, would my life be better if I had decided differently? This is completely impossible to know, but still, I think about it. Okay, I have talked about the problem. Now let me talk about what has helped me, because I don't want this to just be about difficulty. I want it to be helpful too. I want to be clear. I am not a psychologist or a doctor. These are just things I have tried and that have helped me personally. Maybe some of them will help you too. The first thing that helped me, writing before bed. I started keeping a small notebook next to my bed, and before I sleep, I write down the thoughts that are in my head. Not in a perfect way, not in complete sentences, just whatever is there. Something interesting happens when you write your thoughts down. They become less powerful. When a worry stays inside my head, it can grow and feel enormous. But when I write it on paper, I can see it. It's just words. It's smaller. And then my brain can let it go. The second thing, a worry time. I learned this idea from a therapist I once spoke to. The idea is simple. Instead of letting yourself worry all day and all night, you give yourself a specific time to worry. For example, every day at 5 p.m., I allow myself to think about my worries for 15 minutes. I write them down. I think about them. And then, when the 15 minutes are finished, I try to close that chapter and move on. When I started doing this, something changed at night. When a worry appeared in my head at 11 p.m., I could tell my brain, we already did this today. We already thought about this. Now it's time to rest. It doesn't work perfectly every time, but it helps. The third thing, being kind to myself. This one sounds simple, but it has been the most difficult for me. For many years, when I couldn't sleep because I was overthinking, I felt frustrated with myself. I thought, why can't I just stop? What's wrong with me? And that frustration made things worse. But I have learned to be gentler. I try to speak to myself the way I would speak to a good friend. If a friend told me they couldn't sleep because they were worried, I would not say, stop it. What's wrong with you? I would say, hey, it's okay. You're going through a difficult time. It makes sense that your mind is busy. I try to say the same thing to myself now. And honestly, it helps. I want to finish with something I believe very strongly. Overthinking at night is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you are human. It is a sign that you care about your life, your decisions, and the people around you. The problem is not that we think. The problem is when our thinking becomes a cycle that hurts us instead of helping us. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are just a person, like me, trying to make sense of a complicated world. And sometimes, the most honest and beautiful thing we can do is say, I don't have all the answers tonight, and that's okay. Tomorrow, with rest, things will look a little clearer. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you feel less alone, because you are not alone in this. If this topic is something you relate to, please leave a comment below. I would love to know your experience. Take care of yourselves, sleep well, and I will see you in the next video.